Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to make one of these adorable turtles. So let's get into it. Alright, let's get started. First you'll need two different types of yarn colors. It doesn't matter which type of yarn, you can use a smaller yarn than this. Some stuffing for the turtle shell and the head. You're going to need a stitch marker to help keep your space. You're going to need a needle, and I also like using a threader as well. It makes threading and being able to sew it quicker. You're going to need something to count with. When I first started, I used pen and paper just to keep track. You're going to need something to cut it with, whether that's scissors or this cutter that I like to use. You're going to need two safety eyes. These are 16mm as well as the backings for them, but your size will depend on the type of yarn you pick. For instance, this turtle has smaller yarn, so it's going to use smaller eyes that fit the head much better. And then lastly, you're going to need a 5mm hook or H. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is to do a magic ring. I plan to do another tutorial in the future to show you how to do it, but I'll break it down really slow. I'll do it twice. So you're going to be crocheting into this loop. I'll do it one more time. So you make an X on the back, and it should be two parallel lines in the front. Under the first, pull it through, under the next, pull it. Now the first thing we're going to make is the turtle's head. This will also require stuffing as well, so make sure you have that close by. The first thing we're going to do outside of making this magic ring is to do 8 single crochet. So you go in the loop, back out. That's 1. Now the cool part about using a magic ring is you have this little tail here that you get to pull when you're done with your first row, and it closes that hole up completely. So there's no space left behind. And that completes row 1. The next row is an increasing row, so you're going to do 2 single crochet in every single stitch for a total of 16. That's 4. I typically like to put between 4 to 6 stitches in the new row. Take your stitch marker, go back 4 stitches that I just completed for the start of this row, and this will be the first stitch in the next row. So let's go ahead and finish this row off. Row 3, take your stitch marker out. Next, you're going to want to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 in the following, meaning an increase. You have 3 stitches in your new row. Count back, 1, 2, 3. Place your marker. Continue this pattern around. 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the following. That finishes row 3. Row 4 through 6 is the exact same pattern. You're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. Start with row 7. Take your stitch marker off. This one has a different pattern. You do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, another single crochet in the one after that, and then there's a decrease stitch. This one's a little different. I like to only go in through the front loops, which is this one, front side, but you can do a decrease going through the same stitch. You pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, do the same thing, and then go over and pull through both. That's a decrease, taking it from 2 down to 1. And then go back. That marks 3 stitches now because this is only 1. Then those 2. Mark it and do the same exact pattern all around. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and a decrease. In, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. This completes row 8. We're going to pause here. I like to pull the yarn out a little bit. You can take your stitch marker off because it's the next one and you're not going to lose your loop. We're going to attach the eyes. So with safety eyes, you have the eye in the front, and this which goes into the yarn in between the stitches, and you collapse it back with one of these. So you're going to want to put it between rows 4 and 5 and kind of center it where your last stitch is here. So this is 1 row, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to want to go in between rows 4 and 5. Now we'll move on to row 9. Row 9 is very similar to row 7, but it's 1 less. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then it's back to that decrease stitch I talked about before. Into 1, yarn over, pull up, into the next one, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. That is called a decrease stitch. All right, and that's row 9. For row 10, you're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 in the next 4 stitches for a total of 4, and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, another one, 1 more, that's 4. I'm going to go back and put my stitch marker on. So that's 4 single crochets. Next one is a decrease. So in, yarn over, pull out. Same thing until you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through. And repeat that again. That completes row 10. The next step is you're going to want to take some of your stuffing, and you can pull out the stitch marker, make it easier, because you have this long loop. So go ahead and put your hook back on it, pull it up. So what we're going to do is you're going to want to do a few extra single crochets to even it out to where the eyes are like this, and you can squish it down like this so they're even. You don't want to go like this because then it won't sew onto the body properly. So I usually do about 2. This one looks like it needs 3. So once you have the few extra stitches, it's usually between 2 and 3, then you can fold it in half like this, where the eyes are even. You want to go into the next one, and you're going to be crocheting through both sides. And you're going to do this 5 times. So that's 1, and that completes the head. So you're going to want to pull it off And to finish your work, you're going to want to clip. You don't have to clip it super short, but don't clip it super long either. Go somewhere in the middle, cut it off, and you want to take the loose end and pull it through the loop and pull tight. And that is step number 1 to make the head. Set that aside for now. The next item we're going to focus on are the flippers, which is these parts. You're going to have to make 4 of them, 2 big ones, 2 smaller ones. So again, we're going to have to go back and do the magic ring that I showed you when we first started the head. So you're going to want to make an X on the back, parallel on the front, to where you have a loop. And you're going to do 8 single crochets into this loop. And again, it's so fun. You have this little tail, you pull it, and it closes tight for you. That's why the magic ring is so helpful, so you don't end up with a hole in the center of your work. That's row number 1. Row number 2, you're going to do 8 increases. That's 2 single crochets in every single stitch. So into this first one, that's 1 single crochet, into the same one, that's 2, and repeat. And that is row 2. Row 3, take your stitch marker out. You're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch and an increase, meaning 2 single crochets in the one after. So the first stitch, you do 1 single crochet. The next stitch, you do 2. And that completes row 3. Now there's only 3 rows that you do before closing up your half moon flipper. This part, there's only 3 rows. 1, 2, and 3. This last one is actually folding in half and sewing them together. So take your stitch marker out. I usually like to clip this down a little bit so it's not in the way. And you want to fold this in half where your first stitch is at the very end. So you have a half moon. So you're going to want to go into the first stitch and the one previous to crochet them together. And you want to make sure that there's a total of 12 across so it closes up entirely. And that is one flipper. So you pull off a little bit, you cut the yarn again, and again, just like the head to finish, take the loose end, pull it through the loop, and pull tight, and that completes one flipper. 3 more to go. We're going to make another one that's this exact same size. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm not going to walk through it since we just did it, and then I'll walk you through how to make the smaller flipper next. That's the second flipper. Now I'm going to teach you how to make the smaller flippers for the back feet. First step is, as always, magic ring, cross in the back, parallel on the front, 8 single crochets in the loop, take the tail, pull it in, and that completes row 2, or sorry, row 1. Row 2 is easy. It's an increase row, meaning 2 single crochets in every single stitch. So that's 1, and go back into the same stitch. That's 2, and repeat. That is row 2. Take your stitch marker out. Same like last time. I typically cut this off a little bit, make it easier for crocheting them together. So just like the previous one, you want to make it into a half moon, pinch the two sides together, go into the next stitch and through the other side. You want a total of 8 across this whole area. Pull up a little bit. You can cut it off. Again, take your little piece that's not, pull it through the loop and pull tight. And this is one of 2 back flippers. I'm going to go ahead and make one more for a total of 4. It's a total of 4, 2 small, 2 big, and 1 head. Next, we're going to start making the shell. For the shell, you're going to want to get your second color, and we're going to start with a magic ring again. Once you have that on, the first row is just like all the other items for this turtle. You do 8 single crochets in this loop. And that completes row 1. Row 2 is an increase row. You're going to do 2 single crochets in every single stitch, meaning you're going to put 2 of them in every single stitch. So that's 1. You're going to go back into the same stitch, put another one, that's 2, and do another increase in the next 7 stitches. That finishes row 2. Row 3 is 1 single crochet in the next stitch and an increase in the one after that. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, increase meaning 2 single crochets in the one following. And that finishes round 3. For round 4, we're going to do 3 single crochets and then 1 single crochet increase. So there's 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and an increase, meaning 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That completes row 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. For row 5, you're going to want to go take your stitch marker out, do 1 single crochet, do 1 single crochet increase, meaning 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That would be a total of 3 stitches in this round so far. 1, 2, 3. Mark it with your stitch marker. Then you're going to want to do 4 single crochets followed by 1 increase, and you're going to do that 5 times. Once you've done that 4 times, you're just going to round out the round by doing 3 single crochets in the last 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. That completes round 5. Round 6, you're going to do 8 single crochets followed by 1 single crochet increase. And that completes row 6. Rounds 7 and 8 are easy. There's just one single crochet in every stitch. That's a total of 40 single crochets in the round. And that completes round 7. Now you're going to do the exact same thing for round 8. And that completes round 8. Now, with this last one, with the last stitch from the previous round, you want to go in and pull up your yarn. Don't yarn over and pull through. So in round 9, we actually changed colors to the body color, which is the same color that you used for the head and the fins. So you want to take that yarn, and in order to have a seamless color change, you want to take your end and pull that through with your single crochet. So that way it's inside and it's a seamless color change, meaning you won't have stitches that are off in this location. So you want to take your stitch marker out, and for row 9 we're going to work in the back loops only. That means in between here, this is your front loop right here, this is your back loop back here. So you're only going to want to work in the back loop, meaning you're going to want to go down the center and out the back. For this, do 3 single crochets, so that's 1 through the center, that's 2, that's 3, and then you can mark the first stitch you did in this round. That's 3 stitches on this round. Go ahead and clip that on, and then you're going to want to do a decrease, meaning you go into the back loop, you pull it up, go into the next stitch's back loop, pull it up again. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. That is a decrease stitch. And that completes round 9. So the reason I chose these 2 colors is so you could easily see between the body and the shell. So on this row in particular, like we did, we worked in the back loops only, meaning you can see this extra stitch right here. This is the front, the front loop only, and we worked in the back loop only. So this is going to come into play when we finalize the shell at the end. So for row 10, we're actually going to be connecting the remainder of the turtle pieces, the 4 fins and the head, and we actually create a tail when we make this part as well. So with the other color, for the color of your shell that's still hanging, you're going to want to pull that to the front. You see, so it's in the back now, but you're going to want to pull it to the front so that way it doesn't get hidden back there, because we're going to be using this at the end. So for row 10, you're going to want to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. You see how it sticks in here? There's no way it's going to be able to go back to the back. It's in the front now. So after you do your single crochet, you're going to do 4 chain stitches. That's yarn over and pulling through the loop that's on the hook. So that's a chain. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now into the second chain that's on the hoop. So not this one, but the one before that. You're going to go into the chain, pull up a yarn, and slip stitch it through the loop that's on the hook. I'll repeat that one more time. So you're going to want to go into the second chain, go in there, pull up a yarn, you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to want to pull the one that's in front to the back. Now go into the next chain and you're going to do a single crochet in that. And we've done plenty of those. So yarn over, pull up, yarn over, and pull through both. And do the same for the last chain. And this is creating the little tail. So you can see on here that we have one loop here and another here. We're going to slip stitch into these to secure the tail completely. So you're going to want to go behind this first one, behind the next one, and pull up a loop. This loop, pull it through there. That secures the tail completely and seamlessly, so there's no spaces in between. Now we're going to do 3 single crochets. So this was the first one. We have to go into the next one. So this is 1. It's 2. And that's 3. Now back to the first single crochet that we did. That was over here where we started the tail. You're going to want to put your stitch marker there so you know where the row started. Now after you get 3 single crochets, it's time to attach the first flipper. So the way that these are going to go is the strings go up and they face each other inwards. So this is how you know if you're putting the correct fin on first. So the back fins are smaller than the front fins. So you know that this fin, because it's next to the tail, is going to be one of the back fins. So we actually use the one on the left, just like we read left to right. You're going to take the one on the left, you go from the side, and you're going to do 3 single crochets through this and through the back of this. Just like how we crocheted these 2 sides together to create the flipper, we're going to do the exact same thing when we attach it to the body. So you're going to go through this one first. Don't worry about the string, that'll be on the inside when you're done. And then you're going to want to go in through the next stitch. So you're actually going through both. Pull up a loop, you're going to single crochet into these 3 times. So that's 1, into the next one, that's 2. And when you do the last one, it's the one that's closest to the string. Put that string behind, so that way it gets enclosed in the body when you do your last single crochet. So now it's in here. And you stuff that in the body and it just becomes extra stuffing when you put your final stuffing in. The next step is you're going to do 3 more single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So this is 1, this is 2, and 3. Next, you're going to attach the larger flipper since we're on the front. So you're going to take this one, just like how I laid it out, left to right. And you're going to want to count back again, just like I did the last one. So you're going to attach it here first. And then go into the body and single crochet just like you did the first flipper. So that's 1. In through both. Single crochet again. And when you get to this last one, remember, tuck this tail in, pull this string over it so that way it ends up on the inside of the turtle. Single crochet the last one. So now you should have 2 strings from the flippers that were attached. I always go ahead and tie these just to secure them a little bit more. Just in case anything happens or anything gets pulled the wrong way. They're in there, they're secured, and they're together along with obviously the rest of the turtle. The next step, you want to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Now we've gotten to the front of the turtle. The tail, back fin, front fin. Now it's time to add the head. So this, it really depends on how you got this sewn up. But for me, I'm going to face it, test it as how the eye's laid and how I like it. So in this case, we're going to flip it like this. And you're going to do the exact same thing you did with the flippers. You're going to go ahead and put your needle, put your hook into this first. Make sure the turtle string that's straggling is inside the body, just like you did the flippers. And you're going to want to go into the next crochet stitch. So you're through both the head and the body. You're going to want to pull that through, first single crochet. You're going to do this 4 more times, total of 5 to attach the head to the body. And you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, just like how we had one before this flipper. The next stitch is to attach another front flipper. So again, you're going to want to tilt it like this. That way you go into the string side first. Make sure this is tucked in there. Go into the body. So again, you're crocheting through the flipper and the body. Pop up and go through that. That's 1 single crochet. Do the same thing 2 more times. And so now that you have a flipper string and the head, go ahead and tie these, just extra security. Next up, you're going to do 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now it's time to attach the last and final flipper. You're going to want to do the string side first on this side. Make sure that's on the inside. Go through the body. So again, you're crocheting through both the flipper and the body. That's 1. 2 more times. Through the flipper, through the body. Single crochet. 1 more time. Flipper, body. And there you go, it's all attached. So now you're going to want to take this flipper string and just a little extra string from either the head or the flipper, whatever was tied last. Go ahead and just give it a little extra security. Leave that on the inside. And to round out this row, you're going to do 3 more single crochets. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. And that completes row 10, which is the most intensive row to complete for the turtle with all of its different body parts. It's really starting to make shape and come together. For row 11, to start this row, take your stitch marker out, and you're going to do a decrease just in basically the first stitch you did. You go in, you pull up a loop, and then on the other side of the tail, make sure your tail is not on the inside, make sure it's on the outside of the body. You go to the next single crochet, which happens to be, if you go back to the flipper, don't count the one you crocheted into the flipper, but the one before that, you can count back 3. This is the one you want to go with. So you're going to want to do that as well. This is a decrease, so remember you do have some loops on your hook already. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Turn over and you pull through all 3. That's your decrease, your tail's out and good, and then you're going to continue the rest of the row. So we do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and right here is when I like to go back and put my stitch marker on that decrease that we started the round with, so you don't lose your spot. Now you're going to do 1 decrease followed by 2 single crochets. Alright, that completes row 11. Row 12 has a different pattern. You're going to do 1 single crochet followed by 1 decrease. So again, go into the next stitch. That's 1 single crochet followed by 1 decrease. That's yarn over, pull up a loop, go into the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. All right, that rounds out number 12. This is usually when I like to stuff the turtle shell. So you can go ahead and pull this up a little bit. Get some more of your stuffing. Same stuff you used from the head. Go ahead and stuff the body. And there's a decent amount in there. Go ahead and take your stitch marker out and put your hook back on the loop. There is one more row to complete here before we can cut off the body color. So go ahead and take the stitch marker out, and you're going to do 16 single crochet. And then what I'd like to do to finish off, I'd like to go into the next stitch and do a slip stitch. So go in, pull it out, just like how we did the tail, the first part of the tail, you go ahead and pull that loop through. You can pull this up and make sure your tail is kind of long because you're going to be sewing this up. You can cut it off. The body color is complete. Go ahead and finish it as well. So take the tail end, pull it through the loop, pull tight. So for this next step, you're going to go ahead and get your needle and either thread it if you can. If not, I like to use a needle threader. So I put the hook in, I go ahead and thread the yarn. Makes it super easy and quick. Next, to sew up the turtle, you're going to go ahead and go into the front loop. Remember, the front loop is this one only. This is the back loop. So go in from the front side, front loop only. And you're going to want to do that 16 times. Just go around the entire circle. Once you've done all 16, go ahead and make sure you pull that tight. And if you need a little extra, you can go through again the first few stitches just to give it a little, make sure the hole is completely closed. And then you just take it back to one of these stitches over here. What you do is you tie a few knots. Go ahead and put it back in and hide the, you're going to want to pull it away and hide the knots within the work. That way they're stuck in there and there's no way that this is going to come undone. You can cut it. And that is the first part of the turtle. The last part is, again, remember when we left this tail out, we're going to go ahead and finish off the turtle. So the head won't flop like this. We're going to attach it up and the shell is going to be more complete as well. So let's go ahead and get into that. Take your needle. It's coming out of here. So again, these are the front loops that we left in round 9. So you're going to go in the front loop, pull it up just like a single crochet. Pull up the yarn, yarn over and go. Now you're locked in. Go to the next stitch, the next front loop that we left, and you're going to do single crochet across all of these. And once we get to the head, I will talk about how to attach that. Once you get to this part, maybe one more stitch, you want to make sure it's kind of lined up with the head. We're going to attach the head to the shell. So what you're going to do is first you're going to go into the front loop that we had there. Make sure this is dropped behind. You want to drop it behind the needle. Next, you're going to go into whatever row you feel locks the head in place best for you. It could be slightly different for the smaller turtles, and it could vary depending on the yarn that you're using. So whatever row you use in here, make sure it's just consistent. So if I'm using this stitch, I'm going to use this row all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it in place here. Go ahead and go behind, and you're going to take this yarn and you're going to pull it through with this needle. This might be a little difficult at first, but you'll get it. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over one more time, pull it through. And do the same thing 4 more times. So make sure you go through the front loop, leave this behind, go into the head, same thing, pull this through. Sometimes you have to hold this piece down. That's 2. 3 more times. And that's how you attach the head so it's not floppy. Now you can continue around in the front loops with single crochets just like you did at the start until you get back to the tail area. All right, once you've done all of them, you're going to want to go back into the first one that you did. Go through and do a slip stitch just like we did the tail. You're going to go ahead and pull up yarn over and pull it up and pull through that loop. So that way it finishes and it's seamless. You can pull that out. Go ahead and clip your yarn. Don't do too big, but don't do small because you also have to sew it into the body so that way it keeps the knot. Take the tail end, pull it through the loop. Now again, you're going to put it into your needle, either by itself or use your threader. Pull that in. Next step, I don't like going in on top of the shell. You should go from beneath, that way it's hidden. And then you can go up into the shell so the colors are the same. The way it creates this, and it looks completely seamless on the back. Go ahead and put a few knots in it, and then just go ahead and sew it into the shell. That way the knot's in there, then you can go ahead and clip it. And that is how you make a turtle. The body's complete. The head is not flopping anymore, it's attached. And sometimes I like to put pink cheeks on the turtles, or you can put a mouth. It's up to you. But I look forward to seeing everybody else's turtles. If you liked today's video but aren't quite sure how I did some of the stitches, well, look out for my next video coming this Thursday where I'll describe some of the basic stitches of crochet. So if you liked the turtle video, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next one.